And let's move on into the next team, Mark, and that is the Tennessee Titans. Going to throw out there, we'll do patreon.com/MostVal Podcast. That is how you support us. Make sure to bronze, silver, gold, any single tier, different rewards for you guys. That link down below in the description. And we're moving on. Tennessee Titans is the next team that we're looking at. And this is a team kind of in a similar boat to the Titans, I would say, where you look at offensively yards per game, or it's the Jaguars. Of course, they're in the similar boat as the Titans. They are the Titans. 25,
Very similar. It's eerily similar.
25th ranking offense, 312 yards per game. 27th in offensive points per game, about 19.4. They were 8th in defensive yards per game, 333 given up. 3rd in points per game on the defensive side, 18.9 is how many points they gave up. When it comes to free agency, you know, the big one, I know this isn't free agency, but it was a trade. They bring in
Counts.
a guy like Ryan Tannehill. They sign Adam Humphries to a 4-year deal. They bring in guys like Roger Scaffold. They bring in, they re-sign Kenny Vaccaro. They signed Cameron Wake to a 3-year deal, which that Cameron Wake one is pretty big because they were already a really good defense. Now adding that, we're going to do the same thing we did as the Jaguars, where the defense is the strongest point of this team. Mike Vrabel being the head coach, of course, you're expecting that defense to be really strong. My question is for you. What does the trade for Ryan Tannehill mean for the Titans this year? Is it just an insurance policy for if Marcus Mariota goes down, we have a quality starting quarterback behind him? Or is there actually maybe some blood in the water and Ryan Tannehill could win the starting job at some point this season away from Mariota?
Here's the thing about Marcus Mariota. He's a good quarterback. He really is. He's got a lot of that potential, rushing, passing, but he's not necessarily, I don't know how I want to say, like, he's not going to get himself killed in the running game. It's not like he's running for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he runs smartly.
Yeah, very smartly. There you go. I like the fact that he's got that 2016 benchmark year where, yes, only 61% completion, but 3,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. You just want that. That's what you're looking for. Trying to get that again. The year before, 19 and 10 touchdowns. Completion was fine, but yards were down. Yards were down 2017, 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. You don't want that. You don't like it. 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Got even worse. Now, of course, you have a new offensive coordinator, so that's going to help out. But you get a little nervous with Mariota because he hasn't really ever shown that he really has what it takes to really be a kind of top-tier quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's just very average all the time. And if we're going to criticize Jameis, which we've done, we have to criticize Marcus Mariota too, because it's the exact same thing. Guy who's got all the skills you need, but just hasn't been able to really lead the team. And Jameis has a few off-the-field type of things that you worry about too, where Mariota does not. But you sit there and you say, yeah, but Jameis puts up more yards, puts up more numbers than Mariota in that case. So they really kind of even out. You really just need Marcus Mariota to come out here and show that he was worth the number 2 overall pick in 2015. Because so far, besides that 2016, which showed like, yes, he's finally getting it together, he's never really shown you that he's been worth anything. So the question about Ryan Tannehill, I don't necessarily know if there's truly blood in the water. I don't really know if he's just brought in for an insurance policy. Part of me really feels like he is because, 14 or 15 games seems to be a pretty standard season for Mariota. He does get hurt eventually, but it's usually late in the season.
Yeah.
So Tannehill won't have a ton of time to come in here and play. Tannehill's also injury prone himself. He's had 2 seasons now, I think, where he's been hurt. So there's just kind of these big question marks here. I think what it really shows about the Tennessee Titans is they just don't really know what they're doing at the quarterback position.
I also wonder, because like Ryan Tannehill was looking, the contracts, how they play out is So Marcus Mariota is going to make $20.9 million this year. Very backloaded contract. He's a free agent after this year. Then you've got Ryan Tannehill. He's making about $2 million this year. He's a free agent after this year. Mm-hmm. And basically the question you have to ask...
You can completely reset if you want.
You could, and that's an option. Where let's say the Titans are, and that's actually interesting. I'll throw up Tankathon really quick. Oh, by the way, because I pulled it up and forgot to say during the Jaguar segment, you were right about the Nick Foles, Peyton Manning. They were in the same season.
I thought so.
Peyton Manning did it in September, and then Nick Foles did it in November of 2013.
For some reason, I flipped when it happened, but it makes sense.
So Tankathon's got the Titans as the 15th team right now in the 2020 draft, and I know it's a long time. Their mock draft has them going with CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver from Oklahoma.
They could use it, that's for sure.
So not a quarterback, but let's say they do have an injury-riddled season, and they're a top 5 pick, top 10 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
They could go quarterback, or the decision becomes, okay, how did they play? But Mariota's 25, going to be 26. Ryan Tannehill's 32.
Yep.
Like, that's the debate that goes on.
Tannehill has fully entered journeyman quarterback mode.
Exactly. And the thing with Mariota is I almost want to say, hey, I want to see that season, because 2017 wasn't a bad year. They made the playoffs. That game against the Chiefs, Mariota was actually really good in that game. And what is it? The Chiefs usually losing those games. Then they went up against New England and just got rocked, because I remember Sean, as we're listening to it in the car, being super excited because they were just demolishing the Titans at every turn. But like that year, I even look at touchdown to interception ratio, and it wasn't great, 13-15. And I just, for Mariota, it's like, are we going to get that? Like, you use the 2016 season as the benchmark. I just want to, like, are we going to get that year where we look at Mariota and go, yes, this is what we expected? And I mean, I don't know if we're going to get that. Like, this is a team that I feel like could be a step behind the Jacksonville Jaguars, because Jacksonville went out and solved their quarterback issue, where I'm not saying Marcus Mariota is in the same discussion as Blake Bortles. If you gave me a draft and my pick was between Marcus and Blake for my quarterback, I would take Marcus 99 times out of 1. Basically. And it's just, I look at it though and I go, this is a team that defensively is really good. If the quarterbacks are injured or can't get it done, how is this team going to compete with a Houston team that healthy is really dangerous? A Colts team that under first-year head coach Frank Reich showed strides and are probably just going to get better this year. Oh, and then there's Jacksonville, who solved their quarterback issue. We think solved their quarterback issue and brought in a proven veteran like Nick Foles. And to me, there's a possibility that the Titans, we look at them and they are the 4th team in this AFC South this year. Yeah.
It's kind of sad to think about, too, because that 2015 draft class for quarterbacks, it's not looking so good. You had Marcus Mariota, you had Jameis Winston in opposite order, who both look like they might be out of their teams this year, potentially, or after this season. Next up, you got greats like Brett Hundley, Bryce Petty, Garrett Grayson, Sean Mannion. Nobody who's doing anything.
Yeah, like Sean Mannion, it was back up with the Rams. He was never going to start over Jared Goff.
Well, you got quite a bit of these guys that are backups, but it's just the kind of thing of like, you didn't really have anybody who was all that great.
No one was going to compete with those two.
Yeah.
For the top.
But those two at the top looking like they're not that great anyways. They look like they're going to get to their the end of their rookie deals and say, good luck. Have fun. You know, Arians will go get his guy. The Titans, honestly, if they have a bad season, they might reset the coaching staff.
You think so? They'd get rid of Vrabel so soon?
It happens in the NFL all the time.
I mean, yeah. There is a phrase called getting chutted. Like,
exactly.
Correction.
And fortunately, he won't get chutted. But a lot of these coaches, they only get to year 2, and then they're gone. So if it completely fails, it's that type of option of, do you let this new, this kind of current staff get a quarterback that they want? Do you just re-sign Marcus Mariota and hope that it gets better? Especially if he has a good year this year, because he could totally have a good year this year. We both, as much as we're kind of talking down about it, we both still like Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
He's a good quarterback.
And the thing I was going to say that makes it, because you brought up Jameis Winston, the thing for me that makes me not just pull for Mariota, but also I like him better than Jameis Winston is because he doesn't have the off-the-field issues.
Sure, but doesn't put up as much numbers.
But that's the thing, where it's like, out of the two...
Which one do you want?
I mean, if you look at it, how many playoff games has Jameis won?
Yeah.
How many playoff games has Marcus Mariota won? So, I mean, it's in there.
Yeah.
I think if we compare the two, because obviously they're linked by draft class, Jameis's problem is that he gets in his own way. Whether that's throwing the ball on the field and turning the ball over, whether that's off the field issues and not making the right choices outside of football.
Getting suspended.
Where Mariota, to me, the main thing is just his body hasn't held up. And he's gotten injured at the wrong times. But he also, week 17 injuries is what I'm talking about.
Which is totally true, but the other part of it too is he just hasn't given you the numbers you hope. Last year we were all so excited to see this Tennessee Titans offense. They looked like they were about to just step out and be amazing, and they weren't very good. And their offensive coordinator somehow gets promoted to head coach of the Green Bay Packers. But, it's just a big confusion there. But you look at this team now still, and they've got A.J. Brown. They've got Corey Davis. They've got Delaney Walker. They've got Derrick Henry, and then Deion Lewis, I think, is an awesome number 2 there. They've got so many weapons. But we were saying the same thing last year, that they had a lot of weapons. We were going to see the production finally come out of them. We need to finally see that production. Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, he has a lot to kind of step into. He really has a lot to work with, and he's another one of these guys who's kind of younger in their career. He can kind of really make a name for himself if he can get this team to perform as well as they have. As well as they have the potential to. You're more of the kind of college guy of the two of us. Yeah. But, he did come from Ole Miss, but he was more defensive in Ole Miss. And I don't really remember Ole Miss really being that great ever. This was in 2010, I guess, that he was around there. But then he did get to come over to the defensive side of the football for the Tennessee Titans. And eventually getting moved around for tight end coach, being that tight end for a while, stuck around. Mike Vrabel decided to keep him around. And then he gets promoted up to offensive coordinator to replace LaFleur, who did not do well at all.
Well, it's weird, too, because he was with the Titans before Vrabel.
Yes.
He was under, let's see.
He was with Mike Munchak.
Yeah, not Munchak, Malarkey.
Okay.
Mike Malarkey, and then even Wisenhunt. He's a product of the he was there with Wisenhunt, then Malarkey, and now he's the offensive coordinator with Mike Vrabel, where you could look at that and say, well, guys, that kind of shows that maybe he does have what it means to be the offensive coordinator. I look at it, and it's a question to me, because this is a team, if Arthur Smith isn't able to get it done and link with either Mariota or Tannehill, this is not going to be a good year for the Tennessee Titans. But the thing I did want to throw out, and the reason why I had those coaches at hand, was since Mariota came into the league, this has kind of been the story for the Titans. He comes in, Ken Wisenhunt's the head coach. During that rookie season, Ken Wisenhunt's fired. Mike Malarkey is now your head coach of the Tennessee Titans. He was promoted from tight ends coach.
Apparently that's the way to go. Yeah. Be the tight ends coach of the Titans.
Well, they got good Delaney Walker, so I guess that's it. But he had Jordan Michaels then as the OC. Malarkey gets promoted to interim head coach. Malarkey then wins the job. And then the offensive coordinator is Terry Rablinski. I hope I'm saying that right. Titans fans will correct me. That was also the year they had Dick LeBeau on the defensive side. But Malarkey, Rabotsky, then in 2017, the first year in his NFL where, hey, I've got the same coach, and the same OC going into the next year. And then from 2017 to 2018, both those guys are gone. Vrabel's brought in. LaFleur's brought in.
And his stats went down that year, too.
Then this year, coming into this year, LaFleur is gone, bringing in Arthur Smith. So it's like we've only seen...
He's getting that Jay Cutler treatment.
Kind of. And you mentioned that 2016 year. And I mentioned how 2016 was a good year for him. I mentioned how 2017... they make the playoffs.
But was not a bad year, but was a down year for Mariota.
But that was those 2 years were the only years where he had a consistent no change in the coaching staff. And I wonder, how's that going to be on Mariota again to have another offensive coordinator in almost as many years?
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. It really is. And this is a team where they need some consistency because you have that young quarterback. You have a lot of young weapons in general. You got young Corey Davis, young A.J. Brown. You've got young Derrick Henry there as well. You have a lot of your weapons. They need some type of consistency. And maybe they figure that having somebody who's been with the organization for so long, well, there's some consistency. I don't know. It's an interesting one. You can argue that's a good thing that he's been around for a long time. You can also kind of argue that it's not really that great of a thing that he's just been there for that long because it's like, if you've never really gone anywhere else, like you've just been here kind of under the radar. He's got a little bit of a difference of defensive coaching and offensive coaching. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens with that. But Mariota, I think I easily can see him getting extended. Without a doubt, I can easily see that. But I don't see him getting one of these huge monster deals. I can see it being like a 3-year, let's just play it safe and see what happens.
Which I don't think will be the worst thing in the world for the Titans. To get a little bit away from Mariota and the quarterbacks, because we've spent quite a bit of time talking about them, mainly because quarterback is such an important position.
Yeah, you live and die by your quarterback.
But I just want to mention offensively the wide receivers, because for me, this is a year where I feel like Corey Davis, and love bringing up Corey Davis, Chicago area kid. Also, he's also a Capricorn, so I got to throw that out there.
Oh,
Fellow
nice.
Capricorns got to stick together. He's a guy where in 2 years into the league, we saw good things last year. I know Titan fans are going to yell at me if I don't say that. 891 yards, actually played 16 games the full year. My thing with Corey Davis is I want to see an 1,000-yard season season this year. And if you're going to be the main guy, the main honcho in that wide receiver, you got to have more touchdowns. But also, at the same time, Mariota's got to get him the ball.
Yeah.
But you got to score more touchdowns. Like, this has got to be the receiver that's the go-to guy. Because Delaney Walker's getting old, and he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there forever, and he could be injured again this year. He's also an injury-ridden tight end.
And, they've got A.J. Brown, like I said before, too, so that's going to be a big one. You expect a lot out of him. So they've got weapons. They had the weapons last year, and now they've got even more. So there's really no excuse. You got to start to be productive as an offense. And you got rid of an offensive coordinator. Well, you didn't really get rid of him. He left somehow. And I remember that with Titans fans. Titans fans were really upset of like, are you serious? We're not going to get rid of LaFleur? And then it was like, wait, he's leaving? Okay, yay.
Count your blessings.
Right? And... they have to get more. They have to be more productive. You can't have yet another underperformance for this team because you've had 2 in a row now. Even getting to a playoffs, that's great, but it wasn't a very great year for you as a team. This defense is good. That's going to carry you pretty well. All the AFC South defenses are good.
Yeah.
It's going to carry you pretty far, but that offense needs to make this team actually competitive and make this team start really winning games. It's not like they were losing games last year. They were, 9-7? They were still a fine team, but they really need to take that next step forward.
And I don't want it to seem like we're skipping over the defense because defense is important, but I don't think there's anything to really hit on with the defense. I expect similar things. I expect them to be just as good of a defense as they were last year. I expect them to take that much of a dip under Mike Vrabel. So that's why I kind of want to move into the schedule to kind of end off the Titans. Yeah. And for me, I have the first 4 games at Cleveland, home against the Colts, at Jacksonville, at Atlanta. What a way! Like, talking about a tough defense, you get to play 2 divisional opponents, one of which on the road, and of course Jacksonville, Tennessee, always tough games. But now Nick Foles adds a variable into that equation. And just, can we talk about game 1? Like, I know that the Browns hype them, love them, hate them, whatever you want to do, but with that offense on paper, that is a pretty big task.
And to be fair, if we're going to have a collapse in Cleveland, it's not going to happen week 1.
Yeah. Well, and also that game in Cleveland is going to be jumping. Cleveland fans are going to be excited. OBJ, after he got the realization that, okay, I'm here in Cleveland, he's going to be excited. Baker's going to be going crazy. Like,
I will
the
say,
dog pound is going to be going nuts.
For Tennessee fans, you
got to win that game, as Mark's saying.
Yeah, if you watch our podcast often, you know that I enjoy a little bit of chaos in the NFL. For the sake of killing hype, because the hype is very down on the Tennessee Titans and very up on the Browns, I would love you Tennessee fans to walk into Cleveland and just beat them 40-15. Just
Baker
dominate them.
Can't get it to OBJ all game.
Because then
the defense sacks
those
Baker
will
left
be
and right.
Some headlines to see. Colin Cowherd's he's gonna have the best night of his life. He's gonna be loving it. He's gonna be tweeting nonstop. People are not
Baker.
gonna talk about Tennessee.
Hey,
but
Baker,
that's okay.
maybe you should lay off the mic.
Right?
Lay off the mic and worry about playing football. Like, that's what it would be.
Yeah, unfortunately, if that happens, you guys could score 100 points and people would still be like, "Oh yeah, Tennessee won," but Cleveland lost.
Yeah, Tennessee had a good game. No, but look at the Cleveland Browns. They lost,
and they lost bad. They gave up 100 points.
Because I look at that. That's number 1. But then the toughest part, can we just look after the bye?
It's terrible.
Like, Jacksonville, Colts. All right, that's tough. Oakland. All right, that's probably a winnable game. Houston, New Orleans, Houston. Good effing luck.
Like, if you're in the wild card race, which
Houston,
you probably can be.
Houston could be injured at that time.
Totally true.
Asterisk.
But like, if you're in the playoff race here, the wild card race, which there's a good chance you will be, to go division. Well, actually, no, the Saints aren't in your division. I'm sorry. If to go division. Really, really tough. Probably NFC leading
division. Who you'd probably see in the Super Bowl division,
right? It's going to be very difficult. That Raiders game, sure, that's a little bit of a gimme. But going before that, Colts, Jaguars, Chiefs, Panthers.
Oof.
It's a tough end. It's a tough way to end.
I think it's going to be rough for the Titans to get back to 9 wins. I think it is because the Chargers are no joke. Denver's a wild card. I don't know what to expect with them and Vic Fangio's.
Yeah, but that defense
year.
is going to be real good.
Buffalo should be a winnable game, I think. Josh Allen year 2, it's going to be interesting to see what he does. Tampa, the benchmark. Got to win that game, Marcus. Got to stay one step ahead of Jameis, which I think they could do this year. And then Oakland. So what, maybe 2-3 gimme games?
Yeah.
And then the rest are, let's see what you can do. Can they pull out a win here and there against the team they're not supposed to? You're right. They could.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I look at the schedule and I go, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 5-6 win team next year, especially if one, if not both, of their quarterbacks go down because, like, you look at last year, and I know early on, Gabbert was the guy early on.
Mm-hmm.
They were, in the first 5 games, a field goal here, a touchdown here, from being 5-0 to start instead of 3-2. But I look at it and it's like, if you can do what they did last year, like steal a game against the New England Patriots in Week 10, if you could do other, like Washington when they played them late wasn't that good, but like they stole a game against Houston early in the year. They beat Jacksonville in that 9-6 game on, I think that was Sunday Night Football. Was that Sunday Night Football? I think it was. Oh, I'm thinking of the 30-9 game they played against Jacksonville Thursday night. But like, if you can steal one against Jacksonville, or if you can steal that game in Cleveland, that is going to help you. Otherwise, I could see this team being I'm going to even go less, like 4 to 6 wins. And people looking and go, why did we regress after getting 9 wins last year? What are you thinking about the schedule? Just your final thoughts.
Well, schedule's going to be tough. I kind of see the Titans being like a 7-win team, not taking a huge step back, but taking enough of a step back to be disappointing. And we'll see what happens with everything this year. I can easily see them saying, nope, we just need consistency. One more year, it's going to be fine. Let's give Mariota that small year. You know, give him like 3-year deal. Nothing crazy. Because especially if you're going to be a 7-win team, now you're not getting the best quarterback in the draft. You might not even get the second or the third best quarterback in the draft because there's a lot of quarterbacks coming out of this draft that are supposed to be highly rated.
Unless they want to do what they did for Mariota and trade up.
You could.
No, I'm thinking they made a trade with the Rams when the Rams wanted Jared Goff. That's what I'm thinking of.
You easily could make a trade. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. This offense really needs to step up and show somebody something.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Cleveland, or not Cleveland fans. I was thinking that Week 1 game, and now I'm thinking Cleveland on the mind. Tennessee fans, let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Also, random question. What do you think about your stadium? Because Mark telling me before the segment that...
It's a lot of cars all over the place.
A lot of cars on that stadium. So let us know what you guys think down below about your team and about your
Location's
stadium.
Beautiful.
Do you like it? Do you
beautiful
love
location.
it? Do you want some more of it? Let us know what you think down below.